We've been requested by a few users to start making videos of the specific functionality within Mapmasq, just some short, quick how-to videos. Today we're going to cover the bin analysis tool. What the bin analysis tool does is essentially it puts a grid or a hexagon layer, triangles are possible also, over the data points, and then it counts how many are in each cell. Some people call this fishnetting. Some people call it gridding. There's a lot of words out there for it, but essentially it's a way to aggregate your data based on variable geometric sizes and shapes. We're going to run through one real quick example, and then I'll go into some of the options of the tool. So the point features, we'll just pick the data set we already have here. So it's a data set over the size of the state of Texas. It is approximately, I want to say, about 20 to 30,000 points. And in this case, we're going to use hexagons. You do have the options of squares and triangles also. And for size, we're not going to use 1 square mile. That would take approximately 8 or 9 minutes to run with this data set across the state of Texas. We're going to just go ahead and pick 100. That will actually run pretty quick, and you'll get to see what that is. Now, you could use this slider scale. It's made to increment the values in a various progression. You don't need to use it. As you can see, as you click or as you slide it, it'll grow it. You can also cut the value down to say, okay, I just want to do 1/10. It's going to move this in smaller increments. Keep in mind, it's based on the extent of your data. So if you're using the size of the US or the size of Texas, you're going to have to hand jam or type in the actual smaller value if you want a very small value. In this case, let's go back to 100 square miles. And we haven't ran an analysis yet, so we're not going to remove our previous bins. This allows you that if you're doing one after another, trying to get it right, figure out your right size, it's not going to save all the previous ones. It will delete those as you go if you check that box. We're also not going to keep our empty bins. That's a bunch of 0 or empty bins in this case. If you clicked on that, it would keep them and you would have a nice even grid, but you would also have a lot of grids that would distract the eye. So it depends on what you're doing, but in this case, we're going to say we're not going to keep them. Let's go ahead and run this. Running 100 square miles, it's going to take approximately 10 to 20 seconds, depending on what else is going on your computer, what else is holding up the processor. In this case, it looks like we were on the lower end of that. Let's go ahead and turn off our points, and you'll see our hex bins then are there. Now, to get some really good color coding, all you need to do is click on the layer and then come up here to Appearance in ArcGIS Pro. Come down here and pick Graduated Colors. And this is going to give you a nice color ramp. You can play with the numbers, make them a better size and shape. But you'll be able to zoom in and get a good idea of color-wise of what these would, what are your hot spots, what are your not, where's your clustering, pretty quickly. Now, let's say you decide, well, 100's too big. I want something a little smaller. This will take a little bit longer to run. Let's just come over here and say we want 10, but we want to remove the previous. We don't want to save this one. We don't want it for later. And go ahead and run this. So now we're down to 10 square miles, and it's going to remove the previous. This is going to take probably up to 30 seconds to run. Pretty good size area. However, it's not so big, and we didn't make our bin size so small that it's going to take a longer time to run. If you were doing, say, 1 square mile across the entire United States, that's a lot of data to push and to crunch, and it may or may not take a long time to do that. Across the state of Texas, 1 square mile has been running me 8 to 12 minutes. So as you figure out what you need, think about the output. Is this output meant to mask the data or to do some analysis? Those will tell you a little bit about what your best practice needs to be. So let's go ahead and do the symbology here. And you'll see it'll make the same graduated colors it made before. Let's go ahead and zoom in there. And you can customize this however you want. So this is the city of Austin, but at 10 square miles. So it really depends on the detail of the analysis you want. Anyway, if you have any questions, have any issues with the tool, let us know at mapmasq@gisinc.com. We'd be happy to answer them for you. And also, if you're interested in knowing more about the tool, also use that same email address, mapmasq@gisinc.com, and we'll get with you and see what we can help you out with.